Okay. Welcome. It's October the 9th. So we're well into October now. And there we go. This month we're focusing on community, and what we're going to do is kind of go back and do kind of a hands-on way of looking at. We've looked at the 3 ways of knowing before and explore community through the 3 ways of knowing. So the 3 ways of knowing are: you hear the teachings, you contemplate the teachings, and then you come to know the teachings through meditation. So one of the teachings about community is that your practice is stronger and more powerful in the community setting or in the group setting. So the question is, so that's the teaching. So then that becomes a contemplation, right? So you can go away and think about that. Is that true for me? And what we're going to do is kind of combine contemplation and experience today and explore, is that true for me across the experience of the live meditation? So we're coming together here in our live meditation, and then we have various ways that we come together. We do our grounding, centering, and breathing practice. We feel how the mantra arrives in our body, and then we actually do a more extended meditation, and we're going to just check in on that. So how does the energy of community affect my practice? Does it, is that teaching that it's stronger and more powerful in community true for me today? Maybe not, right? So we can actually explore that in our practice today. And that's one of the ways that you can come at any of the teachings, really, right? Is to put it into practice, explore how it's true in your practice, and that's how it unfolds. We're just going to do it in a very direct way today. So let's begin with our centering and grounding and breathing with that, so that part of our experience is open to the fact that we are here together in community and how that is affecting our practice today. Okay, so you're going to feel your feet on the ground and where you're sitting on the ground. And open to your experience of the earth underneath you. And notice the qualities of the earth. So maybe it feels stable, supportive, open, vast, still. Just starting to open to these qualities and allowing these qualities to permeate your body and your being. And then from that sense of stability of the earth underneath you, allow your spine to lengthen up from the base of your spine all the way up through the crown of your head. Feeling that opening through the back of your head as your ears draw back over your shoulders. There's space between your teeth, your tongue floats in your mouth. There's a slight tuck in your chin that creates that opening along the back of your neck. And then just drop into the spaciousness in your body. And feel your breath coming into your lower belly. And then from this place of being connected to the earth and your body and your breath, we'll just take that time from this experience of meditating in this way, in this group setting with community, to ask ourselves, is this teaching true for me right now in this moment? Is the energy of the group stronger and more powerful in this meditation than when I practice in isolation on my own? There's no right or wrong answer to this, no better, best. You're just seeing if that teaching is true for you in this moment. And then staying open to the earth underneath you, staying in your body, connecting with your breath. Just notice how the words of our mantra land in your body today. Remembering that I am intrinsically good without exception, and that I have been given this precious opportunity in my unique life. I find ways to engage in my daily practice in my everyday life. When I open to the vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability of the earth, that vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability opens into my body and being. And remembering that my heart is open, tender, and responsive, I enter into my relationships as a part of my daily practice in everyday life. So checking in again with the teachings that were offered today. So remembering the teachings are a suggestion, and the suggestion was that when we come together in a group, that it's more powerful and it's stronger than when you are in your own. So were those words more powerful or stronger than when you recite them to yourself in isolation? So again, it's just a contemplation. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. You're just feeling it out for yourself in your practice here in the group today. So before we come back to our circles, so you can speak to your experience of these practices in community, just quickly go over the guidelines, remembering that each of us are coming from this embodied place where we have access to our own wisdom, knowing that each of us can speak from our own place of wisdom. So there's no need to advise other people or fix or change or manipulate the group or circle in any way. And just notice your own behavior in a circle too. If maybe you feel like you need to speak more, you can notice what it's like to hold back a little bit more. Or if you're quiet, notice what it's like to speak up. So community also gives us a chance to be with our edges and to maybe choose to go with a little different edge sometimes too. So sometimes it can be edgy to speak up, and sometimes it can be edgy to be quieter. So just notice what's true for you. And I don't know about you, but my experience in these kind of group situations where we have the opportunity to speak, but it seems that one of the way things get more powerful is that everything seems to get amped up. Anything that I speak about or anything that I hear. So maybe that's true for you too. You can check in and see if that's true for you too. Okay, so let's come back to our circle. And let's just check in on that teaching today. The teaching that when we come together in a group, it's more powerful and stronger than when we practice in isolation. And just checking in, you know, we kind of did that little experiment today. Is that true for you today when you did the centering, grounding, and breathing, and when you heard the mantra today? And there's no right or wrong or better or best response to this. Just, you know, your own experience. That's one way of contemplating.
Maria, from Harrison, New Jersey. When we do I do the centering on my own all the time, but I find when we do it together as a group, it feels more powerful. When you read the mantra too, I mean, I read it every day, but somehow, like when we're all together, it just feels so much more powerful.
Hi, I'm Sandrine. For me, to have this setting in the group is like the fact that we come together in a group. It has to do with the commitment that we put out, and reading these the lines within the group means that although they mean something, they land in my body in a different way than they do in the other person's, but maybe I can learn from the other person's experience by sharing this then in the group setting. And that for me is quite important, because when you read it to yourself all the time, you start to make up your mind about what it means to you, and you try to follow it down that lane, and you actually put on a little bit like these glasses. You don't look to the side then, because you think that, okay, that's the way I should go because it feels good for me right now, which is okay. But then maybe if somebody speaks up something else about the fact how it is, and then it's like, yeah, maybe that's also interesting. So for me, this exchange that is happening, and how the sharing of the experiences with the other people to open further about looking into the different direction. It must not be the direction that I would contemplate, but maybe it would be an interesting lane to go down.
This is a really important point, right? Because we tend to get really focused in our way of seeing things, and which doesn't actually allow us to open to present moment experience at all, right? Because then we're coming into each moment's experience with our predefined,
with the whole package.
Yeah, like we already know what this is going to be. Yes. Yeah. Whereas it really is actually fresh in each moment. So that's actually, I hadn't really, so see how you've just actually helped me to have a fresh view of community there.
Yeah, it's a little bit like this beginner minds we were talking about lately, also in the YC, and how how you actually, you think that you know it, and then when you go and check out a documentary, for instance, and you're like, oh yeah, well, no, I never saw it like that actually, but
Yeah.
so this looking at with new eyes, with a new set of eyes, or with a new set of glasses, or whatever, is really helpful. And I mean, again, maybe my job triggers me to look at these things more often in a different way, because I'm exposed to many of these different cultures and points of view. But it just brought also this whole idea of why is it that I would like to connect in this community so much, and it is the sharing of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah, and I think it's the support without judgment too.
Oh yeah,
that's huge. Yeah, I do think. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I do think practicing together is very powerful. But that's not to say that I don't have powerful experiences alone either.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the group experience facilitates that for me in my own private practice.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Can you say more about how you think that is?
It's possibly to do within the group setting that there's a sense of safety, and maybe I can take that into my own personal practice. It's the shared experience, like hearing about other people's experiences too. So if something comes up in my personal practice, I can think, well, it's okay as well.
It's a symbiotic relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like they go back and forth. Because if you were on your own and you didn't have the community to check in with, then it might seem that those experiences aren't, well, you just wouldn't have anything to validate them with, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And then they would just be kind of floating and lost out there.
Yeah, and you don't know what to do, and it's the collective experience, as we were saying, it opens you to different perspectives, and that allows growth as well.
Yeah, like this morning actually, Paige had an experience which was quite a profound experience, and you know, it left her a little disoriented. But because she had it within the group, she was actually able to check in with it right away, and then we were able to talk about it, and then she had a response about it right away, and then that it settled it sort of right away, rather than it being a question mark for.
So important, because now I'm thinking about when we did the Earth Intensive, and there was one experience that was just so profound, and I didn't have anyone to immediately kind of bring me back into circle and talk about it, and I you know, to process it, that's really important to have that kind of support, because you're sitting there and you're thinking, you know, I was sitting there thinking, oh, that was amazing, that was just so intense and profound, and then comes, did it actually happen?
Yeah.
Like, is that just my imagination?
Mm-hmm.
And then all the emotions and just processing through the day. And so the group and having the support of a teacher is incredibly important. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think even with those profound experiences, it acknowledges them, and then it normalizes them too. So it puts them within this parameter that makes it like, yeah, that was big and it was normal.
Yeah.
Right. So that you don't go like, right.
Yeah, like either like just go off into
Yeah.
whatever, or just completely dismiss it as a figment of imagination,
Right.
or just a daydream or whatever. Yeah, to have the acknowledgement and to have the lost my words. Just the acknowledgement and support.
Yeah, the acknowledgement is important, and then it's like, well, the next, then it's like back to the cushion, really. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's like, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water, right? After meditation, the laundry. It's like, how's your life going to be different after this? Well, you're probably going to make Martin dinner later, right? Like,
that's right. I'm going to clean the toilet.
That's right. Yeah.
And if I also compare it to years and years ago, where I dabbed into yoga because somebody gave me a CD by somebody who started to do yoga lessons and thought that would really be nice for my back aches, actually. So I followed this CD for a while, and I did all the movements, but there were no teachings served with them. It was really just about the physicality of the action. And now if I compare that experience, where also my body went into autopilot of doing those movements and actually not really helping improve, because there was no change in the movements, because I just was doing the same movements all over again. And then if I reflect back now to the year that I'm in the forum, and also the 2 years that I'm practicing daily, it's completely different. My trajectory of learning and also knowing my body and improving my body and my mind and everything else together is just much more profound. And I really, it is really because I am also triggered and made this commitment to be in the community and to share my experience. I actually experience how much more it helps me to just go on further and really feel the differences that are happening in my body and my mind and everywhere else around me.
Yeah, and I think what I hear again and again, like for the sake of teaching, we bring one thing forward in isolation, but what you've all described is that, they come together, like the practice comes together with the teaching, comes together with the community, like, and you can't, it's not like the community is the magic bullet or the teaching's the magic bullet or your practice is the magic bullet, but it's the synergy between all of those things together. Yeah, you need all of them. Yeah. And also, the 3 ways of knowing, right? You need to hear the teachings, you need to contemplate the teachings, and you need to have your own practice, right? But to only hear the teachings or to only think about the teachings or to only practice each one of those things in isolation doesn't work either. You need all 3 of those together as well. So, and I've heard each of you speak about that as well. And Kate, I'm sorry, I muted you, darling, because I was getting some feedback from your line. So I'll just unmute you because you probably have something to contribute here.
It's okay. I agree with a lot of your guys' comments, and I think for me, in terms of community, the live videos like this helps me the best because I'm physically having to check in and be with you guys and see you in live time. But one thing I've noticed for myself lately that seems to be different than your guys' experience is that in terms of just checking in online and going through and reading comments, I haven't really been committing to my practice. I've just fallen off the wagon lately, and the past few weeks have been an emotional roller coaster for me and my husband in different situations that's been happening in our life lately. So it's just kind of, I guess ironic that this is really when I need to be committing to a daily practice every day. But I'm just I always talk about this all the time. I feel like my Vata dosha is always like going crazy, and it's always like a conflict of trying to balance it because I feel like I get very overwhelmed and stressed out so easily. But to bring it back to the community, doing the live videos and the live sessions and hearing your guys' experience really does help me. And like Sandrine said, gives you a different perspective because you can have like such narrow vision. And so I really like learning from you guys because I'm sure you guys have been yogis much longer than I have.
Well, I didn't being a yogi longer because I'm just going to mute you again because your line, what seems to be okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay now. Because I can relate to a lot of what you're saying, having a really strong Vata constitution myself, that it takes, a flicker for me to get thrown off. And even though I know that having that really solid routine is like what I need as a Vata in those periods where so much is coming at me, it's so hard to hold that routine. I just get bowled over by whatever's coming at me. So I can really relate to what you're saying, and the very animal response is to just be insular and cocoon, to do the what is it in the Intelligent Core video that we talk about when you touch the snail? Is it a snail, or what is it that it recoils? It's like an animal that coils. What is it?
I can't remember.
And now I need to go back to that video. There's actual, like, there's like a snail or something when you poke it with a stick.
And where I live, we call them like roly-polies. They're like little, like almost like worm things, and you touch them and they roll up. But yeah, I don't know what the technical name is.
You just touch me and then I coil. Yeah. I've been watching my body do that lately. Just like one little thing comes in and the whole body physically can feel it recoiling. And so I can really relate to what you're saying. And I think that everything in my being just wants to pull away from everything that's available to me. And yet those are the times, like you say, that to check in, to reach out, stay connected, to be connected to practice can be most helpful to us too. Yeah. But it goes against our very animal instinct to recoil.
Yeah, I have noticed that particularly the times when I'm the most fatigued and the most tired, that is actually when I really have to do the practice. And it brings, okay, hey, I'm sorry, we are doing yoga. It is actually the time where then I'm even more fatigued later on. But then when I'm lying in Shavasana, everything comes together, and the whole energy that I gather through the practice is just there.
And those are the times when our practices can be so very gentle too. We've got lots of restorative classes now, and we're adding lots more. And those embodied yoga classes are great now. And those are times when we can even practice in bed.
I've been doing that. I mean, like before I go to bed, I'll do some stretches, because at the beginning of September, I tried to start this 365-day yoga challenge just for myself, just to give myself something to work for. And there's been a few days that I've missed, but I've been doing it in bed because I'm like, this is at least something. At least my body is getting some type of something, and I can just kind of ground myself in bed for a minute.
And I think what Sandrine said earlier too is that we come out with the decision okay, I'm going to practice yoga every day of the year, but what that needs to look like is going to be so different from day to day, right? Some days it's going to what that might look like is lying in Shavasana for an hour, or lying in child's pose, or lying with legs up the wall or legs up the chair. And I'll go through periods where I think my practice is just going to be just never going to be anything but restorative. And then all of a sudden this energy will come. Mm-hmm. And, we can trust the wisdom of our body. And then I'll go through periods where, you know, I'll just have so much energy and I can move and walk and I'm doing sun salutations or I'm building strength. But, you know, a really big part of what we're doing is building trust with our bodies. And if we're constantly overriding them to some kind of agenda that we're imposing from our head down, you know, we're overriding that trust that we're building. And so much, I think this is going a little bit off topic, what our topic is today, but I think, you know, there's such a strong agenda being imposed from our culture, especially for women, to, you know, exercise and maintain a specific weight or what have you. But when we really listen to our bodies and respond to what they need, you're going to maintain your ideal weight anyway.
I really like what you said, Melissa. That just really connected with me. Your whole thing there about not imposing something and listening to your body, and that, you know, yoga can be child's pose and things like that.
Yeah. Because you can take it from those of us women that have been on the other side of exhaustion and fatigue and illness and injury too. It's not worth it. You know, let me tell you how many years it takes to recover from chronic migraines. It takes a lot of years. And it's just not worth wearing your body down for the sake of getting your exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, my car accident is next April. It will be 3 years, and my right hip is still not good. I mean, there is still ache but yeah, I don't give up, because I know it will get better at one stage. It just takes the time it takes.
Yeah, and it's a matter of listening to it and responding to what it needs. Yeah.
On the other hand, it's the thing I'm more or less going through right now with my body is the acceptance of aging process. And I don't mean the wrinkles in the face, though I don't care, and also not the gray hair, because I actually let them grow out now. It's the changing of the whole body that is, because if I look at my aunts and my mom, we all tend to get rounder and flappier.
Yeah.
And all this I have now to digest because I'm losing my youth, but it's not the youth that I'm clinging to. It's just the fact that I have to now also incorporate this changing of the body, and whatever I'm going to do against it. I mean, I don't know how many hours of whatever training I need to do to get rid of this, and I won't, because that's not how my body is constituted.
Well, so this is a really interesting topic, and one I think somewhat worth taking on. Something that's really been bothering me lately. This daily, there's a Instagram ad that's going on about yoga over 40 and what looks fabulous over 40 or something, and it makes me want to just pull my hair out every time, because I don't know what sort of form of punishment you have to put your body through to look like these women in bikinis over 40. Have you seen them, Maria? Yeah,
they don't look like they're, I mean, they must not eat and they must exercise like 24 hours a day. I mean, I can't even.
Have you seen it, Michelle?
I haven't, and I don't want to, because I know I'll just shout at it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's I'm hiding those abs, and every time I can say it's inappropriate, I'm going to say so.
Well, I think this is where we're lucky in that we have a community that is so diverse and real.
Yeah.
You know, we see all this crap outside, you know, in the world, or the advertising and stuff, but we come to a community like this where we're real people with different bodies and different abilities, and it's perfectly acceptable. No one's
Well,
made you feel it's wrong.
and as you go through, as you age and as you head into your menopausal years, you're supposed to put on weight. It's actually healthy for
It's
you.
normal.
It's
Yeah,
normal, and you should. And if you don't, it's actually unhealthy. So this is good. This is good. This
is all. Well, you all have them. See, it's all here.
it's you need to read some Susan Weed. She gets really upset about the you're not supposed to weigh the weight you were in high school your entire life. Yeah, and you know, if you were to start targeting this, you most likely would create injury in your shoulder girdle. Yeah. So it's a problem, this kind of
body shaming, isn't it? It's not
yes, this unrealistic expectations that you know, this fabulous bikini body over 40, this is what 40 looks like. It's bullshit.
No.
This is not what 40 looks like.
This is again bringing the beginner's mind to things, because yesterday I watched a documentary on the sculptures of the ancient Greek, and I mean that's 2,500 and 3,000 years ago. So the ideal body of the Greek statues, I mean, look at them. It's completely
Right.
unnatural. Everything is unnatural about them. All the muscular, all the positioning.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So actually the ideal body and their quest was for beauty, to know what is beauty. And I mean, we haven't lost that one. It's still there. And we are idolizing, the whole society is idolizing statues or, you know, body images that are completely so out of the world. It's just unimaginable. And that's when I go back and look at documentaries about freaks like Leigh Bowery, and I just feel much better then. Leigh Bowery was a transvestite from the 80s, 90s.
Oh, thank you.
Quite a
I didn't know
quite a
that.
tiny figure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's good because it's this sort of yoga for exercise is very, very much dominates the yoga scene, and you know, I think there's probably there is something to it. You know, that they're probably what they have to do to get into those postures. There's a discipline to that practice that probably really trains the mind. But it's also, I think it's also very much, there's a lot of self-inflicting violence that goes along with that whole stream too. So I'm not a big fan. I think it just adds to the confusion and the stress and anxiety that we already have from our mainstream culture. So that's my overall opinion on that. But I don't think that's any surprise.
No, we don't need to see, I call it performance yoga.
Yeah.
You know,
The posturing.
the posturing, I look hot in my bikini top and I can do this awesome back bend balance thing, and I'm so enlightened because of it.
And I think it makes
If you buy this shake or these yoga pants, you'll be like me too. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can make beginners, I think, intimidated to try yoga, and then they miss out on the real benefits of a yoga practice, because they see these, you know, unrealistic and unattainable for a lot of people postures, and think, well, I could never do that, and so I'm never going to try yoga, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most bodies don't do those things, let's be honest. And most bodies don't need to do those things. It's not part of your daily functional movement repertoire. Oh, let me pick up my underwear that I dropped. Let me drop it into a backwards wheel.
Having said all this though, I don't think it's necessarily bad like getting into yoga because you want to get fit and flexible, because I think that's a gateway for a lot of
It's
people.
definitely a gateway.
Yeah. Because then you cotton on to that. It's something much more than getting flexible or strong or whatever, and that's your idea of that expands.
Yeah, and as I say, I think also the people that are practicing the postures as their mainstay of practice, I mean, there's an incredible amount of discipline and focus that comes from that, right?
Mm.
Okay, let's do some practice.
We got there eventually.
Okay, so when you lie down, let's come back to our question for today, our contemplation, which is, how does coming together in community and in group affect the practice? You know, how does it make the practice stronger or more powerful for me today? That's my contemplation as I'm practicing. It's sort of going to be in the back of my mind. Okay. All right. Just go ahead and lie down on your backs with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And you're going to lie in a way that is comfortable. So that your knees are bent and your feet are flat on the floor. And your inner thighs are relaxed, your low back is comfortable, and your neck is comfortable. And you want to feel your 2 feet, your 2 buttocks, your mid back, your elbows, your shoulder blades, and your head on the ground. And just take a few moments here to allow your body to completely let go, release, and relax whatever tension your body is carrying. And, you know, the things that we talked about today, the kind of tension that we experience as women, the impossible agendas to shape and mold our bodies into this kind of perfect body, it creates tension in our bodies. You know, as much as we think that we hold ourselves outside those expectations, you know, the fact that we can't measure up to those unrealistic expectations, it creates this kind of tension in our bodies that we carry around. And here, when we lie our bodies down on the earth, and when our bodies are being received by Mother Earth, you know, this kind of unconditional love, this unconditional support and acceptance, this is really key to being able to release these unrealistic expectations that we carry around, these kind of subliminal expectations that we hold for ourselves, that our culture carries for us, and that breed this subliminal tension in our body as well. So when we lie down on the earth, we have this opportunity to let go of the kind of strength and control, the subliminal fear and tension that gets held in our bodies. And so we can open and connect to something bigger, something more meaningful. And this is something that each and every one of you spoke about in our circle today. Feeling that there's something bigger than what our culture demands of you and demands of your bodies, that there's a bigger experience of your body. And that's what we are tuning into each time we come to these meditations. and each time we connect to the earth. So you're breathing into the pores of your big toes. And feeling into the big toes on both of your feet. And just see what you notice. Notice what sensations are there. And it doesn't matter how much you sense, how little there is. You're just trying to sense tension in the bones, in the skin, the top of the toe, at the bottom of the toe. Allowing yourself time to develop sensation. So you're opening awareness into your toes. And as you open your awareness into the tension in your big toes, you'll notice that that tension begins to unwind and drain downward into the earth. And then you're going to breathe into your second toes. And taking time to sense into and feel into, the true experience of what's happening in your toe, not what you feel should be happening in your toe, not some kind of external expectation, but what's actually happening in your second toe. And then letting that tension in your second toe release and relax and go down into the earth. And then breathing into your third toe. Feeling tension in the third toe, the middle toe. Feeling that the experience of each toe is unique and presents its own gripping or holding tightness. And then allowing that sensation to release, dissolve, and let go. And then breathing into all the pores of your fourth toe. Feeling into the tension, the gripping, the holding. Notice the way that tension wants to unravel, dissolve, let go down into the earth. And then finally your baby toe. Feeling tension in your baby toe. Feeling the way that baby toe just recoils and draws back. Maybe it feels tense, maybe it feels numb, maybe it's harder to sense into than the other toes. And then letting that tension dissolve and release and let go. And each time tension begins to unravel, notice that new levels of tension begin to reveal themselves, and that's okay. It's completely normal. So you're going to now open your awareness into the ball of your foot, the tension in the bones and the muscles, the layers of the ball of the foot up through the roof of the foot. And then letting that tension release and dissolve down through the earth into the ground. And as you release tension through your toes and through the ball of your foot, you may notice tension letting go elsewhere in your body, or tension revealing itself elsewhere in your body. This is because the meridians of your feet map out your entire body. And so as you begin to release tension from your feet, tension will also reveal itself and let go elsewhere in your body as well. So you can just follow that as it happens. This is why we take so much time in your feet as well. Because as you release tension in your feet, you're releasing your whole body. So just follow the release of tension as it naturally happens in your feet and through your whole body, and then come back to your feet. And then open your awareness into the arch of your foot. Feeling into the tension at the front and the middle, the back of your arch, the inside and the outside. All the way up into the interior of your foot, right up towards the front of your ankle. Feeling all the crossroads and masses of tension. You're breathing into those. And allowing that tension to release. Opening your awareness into your heel, feeling the bone and the rather tough and dense tissue around your heel, inside of the heel, the outside of the heel, and your ankles. Just letting the tension from your heels and your ankles, your ankle bones, the inside, flowing down through your feet and into the earth. Allowing your whole foot to relax and melt. Tension dissolving and melting down into the earth. And then opening your awareness into your lower legs, your shins, your shin bones, the muscles on the outsides of your shins. Breathing into this part of your body. Let your awareness come into your shin bones and the tissue around it. Feeling the tension, feeling the holding. And give yourself time to allow the tension to come forward and let it transform, let it release. Let it release down. Opening towards the backs of your legs. So the whole lower legs on both sides, on the inside of your lower leg, the outside, your calf muscle. feeling all the way up to behind your knee and all the way down to your Achilles. Scanning your whole lower legs and knees, looking for all the ways that tension is dissolving and releasing and letting go. So your whole lower legs and feet are relaxing, releasing, dissolving, letting go of tension. And then bring your awareness to your buttocks, resting on either side on the earth. Feel the way they touch the earth and just notice any gripping or holding there. And see if you can let go of that gripping and holding so that your buttocks can relax more deeply into the earth. Noticing the tension, allowing the tension to release and relax and let go so that the connection between the earth is more deep. There's more opening into the earth. And then opening your awareness into the whole pelvic area from your sacrum, your tailbone, your pelvic bones. Feeling the tension and the pain of the pelvic cavity, including your hips on the outside. Just opening your awareness to the tension that exists. And giving your body the time for the tension to release and dissolve. And then opening your awareness to your upper legs, from your knees to your hip bones. Feeling the tension from your knees to your hip bones. And letting that tension from your knees to your hip bones come forward. Feeling the tension in the bones, the upper femur bones. Also sense tension in your inner thighs, your outer thighs, the backs of your legs, the fronts of your legs. And just let the whole upper leg become soft, melt, release, and dissolve. And then feel the connection between your mid-back and the earth at the base of your ribs. So feel how your ribs are connecting to the earth. Feel their connection with the earth. And then open your awareness to the experience of your rib cage itself, the base of your lungs. And let your rib cage and your lower lungs, your side body soften so that tension can unravel, release, dissolve, and let go down into the earth. And then feel your shoulder blades and their connection, the backs of the shoulder blades on the ground. Feel the tension in your shoulder blades themselves. And notice the way the tension unravels from your shoulder blades into the earth, up through the layers of the upper chest, through the collarbones, through the upper lobes of the lungs. And then open your awareness to the feeling of your elbows resting heavy on the ground. And feel the tension in your fingers, the joints of your fingers, the backs of your hands, your wrists and your forearms. Letting that tension unravel, dissolve, melt, and let go down through your forearms, through your elbows, and into the earth. And then opening your awareness to sense the experience of your shoulder joints, the fronts, the sides, the backs, the tops, the bottoms. Letting that tension slide down through your upper arms, through your elbows, and into the earth. And then opening your awareness into the felt sensation of your head. Feeling your forehead. All the tensions along the bones of your forehead, the lines of your forehead, the skin. And just let that melt down through your scalp, through your skull, into the earth. Sensing the tension in your brain, the front of your brain, the middle of your brain, the back of your brain, the top and the bottom, just letting it melt through the back of your head and into the earth. And then bring your attention to your eyes, your eye socket, particularly the back of your eye, the optic nerve a little down from the center. So again, your eye is a microcosm of your whole body. And the tension in your eyes is very much bound up in the tension that you hold in your whole body. So when you let tension drain out through the backs of your eyes, through your eye sockets, you're completely relaxing your whole body. So bring awareness to the tension in the colored part of your eyes, your iris. Feel the tension in the colored parts of your eyes and allow it to relax. And then even notice the tension in the clear dome over your iris, your cornea. Let the tension in your cornea relax and release. Become aware of your pupil, the black circular opening at your iris that lets light in. Let the tension come forward then and allow it to release. Become aware of the tension in the whites of your eyes, the sclera. Feel the tension in the whites of your eyes and allow the tension in the whites of your eyes to release. And then feel the tension in the thin layer of tissue that covers the entire front of your eye. Feeling the tension down to these finest layers. Allowing this tension to release from your eyes. And then you're going to travel behind the colored part of your eye, behind your iris, behind the black of your eye, behind your pupil, and there's a lens there. And it helps you focus light on the back of your eye. And you're going to feel the tension here at the deepest level. So feeling the tension at the backs of your eyes from all this visual stimulation and allowing this tension to release. And then feeling your eyelids, the top and bottom eyelid, feeling the tension in your eyelids. Noticing where your eyelids touch. And allow the tension there to unravel. Feel the tension in your eyelashes. And let the tension here soften. And finally, your eye sockets. Let the eye sockets, let the experience of the eye sockets come forward. Feel the tension and allow the tension to melt. And then breathing into any remaining tension in your face. Particularly around your temples, at the base of your brain, the back of your throat. And then let yourself feel your body as a whole, breathing in through all the pores of your skin, very gently through your entire body all at once. And notice any other places that your body wants to relax and release. And as you go through these final moments of surrendering and letting go, just open into the stillness of your body, feeling your body as a whole, letting go of doing, and just being with your body in a very relaxed way. Letting your body continually melt into the earth underneath you. And it's okay if your body lets go to the point of going to sleep. And just before we come back to our circle, take these final moments of contemplation to reflect on how this practice might be different, maybe the same, when we practice together in our group, in our community. The teaching said that when we practice in a group, the practice is more powerful and stronger than when we practice alone. So based on this practice of 10 points reclined somatic meditation tonight, just notice, was the practice stronger? Was the practice more powerful in group for you tonight or today? So there's no right or wrong or better, best answer for you. Just bringing that contemplation to the foreground of your mind in this meditation today. And then we're going to come back to our circle. So I'm just reflecting on how the energy of the group can really affect the practice. And so tonight I decided to go into detail on the releasing of the eyes. And I haven't done that in a while. And I wasn't really consciously thinking about why I was doing it until afterwards. And then I made the connection afterwards that, to release that, to release the eyes is to release the way that we're expected to look visually too as well, right? And that was the whole discussion at the beginning. So that was interesting. So I know you guys are in a bit of an altered state when you come out of this, but your experience, when you experience this meditation in the setting of a group, is the experience different than when you do the practice on your own?
I think for myself it is. I do it on my own. I've been practicing like different ones last month, trying to, I always, I feel relaxed and I feel, I'm there, but when we're in a group, the energy of the group, I feel it goes so much deeper in my own practice than when I do it on my own. I don't know if it's just the collective energy of the whole group, but I feel like I'm go deeper in my meditation than I do by myself. And I felt it tonight. I was drifting in and out, and I was just in there. And lots of times by myself, it doesn't feel like I'm going deep at all. But here, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I had again, I'm still, when I'm doing the 10 points meditation, my elbows tend to fall asleep. I don't know why that is. And maybe if I would have done it on my own, I would have been so much concentrated on this fact that, you know, they are falling asleep, and I would have concentrated on that and then, you know, been out of the meditation. But here I just released my arms to the ground, and then it was good, and I was back into it again. So it is also for me this staying connected, because I'm not letting anybody down, because I'm letting my arms down, but that doesn't mean I'm letting you down. I'm going to stay with you in the meditation. I'm sorry. It's again this commitment to do it in the group, and then this I felt, although this releasing of the visual and the letting go of the eyes and all that, I just know that I'm connected to you all somehow, and that is important. I mean, that's it's wider and it's more than just the visual thing about it.
This was something that came out this morning as well, which is that even though you might not feel the practice any different, that when you come to practice with the group, your own commitment to the practice is different. That you show up in a way that is more committed. So that was something that maybe people felt that feeling it as more powerful or stronger it might be like feeling energy, and that was something that was outside of the realm of their experience. Some people were like, well, but my commitment is stronger when I'm showing up to the group, right? So then I'm more here, I'm more present. Yeah.
Yeah, the power of collective intention helps me to focus. It's hard to put my finger on why this is a more powerful feeling for me. Like I said earlier, it's not necessarily that I don't have powerful experiences meditating on my own. It's just different. And I've had these experiences in circle like this when we've meditated together, and it's just had this thing happens. Powerful connection, and it's quite different to feel that connected with people. Like, you guys are in another bloody hemisphere.
That's true, right? We're so far apart.
Yeah, that connection is just, we're together.
I'm sometimes reminded of the talking trees, the trees that are talking to each other through their hormonal systems, and we are connected. I mean, okay, this is way out there, but we are somehow connected. Even though we are not physically together, we are visually together. But even if we just shut that one down and we just follow the next Friday yoga with Melissa, we just know that, or the daily yoga connection, we know that there are people in there who are probably doing it at the same time, but it is still this connectiveness about knowing that there are people doing this right now in the right moment, with you or not with you. I mean, okay, then the experience now here live, being able to share immediately what we felt without going too much thinking and contemplating about it and then writing it up, is even more powerful, because it's real, and it is there, and it's fresh and coming out, and now later we can contemplate on what this probably also does.
I agree. It's a powerful experience, but at the same time, I don't have really anything to compare it to, because I am still so new to meditation and somatic meditation, and I haven't done anything like this on my own. So, but what I will say is, as I'm still kind of, getting used to it and learning, is that my mind goes in and out a lot, and halfway through, I'll be like, oh, I really want to stop, but doing it live, I'm like, no, let me just, refocus here and come back. But it's just, just with the monkey mind and going everywhere. But again, I'm still very new, and I think that this group setting pushes me to a different edge, where if I were trying to do this on my own, I would just be like, well, I don't feel like doing this anymore, so I'm just going to be done.
So a different level of accountability, the commitment, the self-commitment thing again, right? Because of the support of the group. I think it's big. I get excited about the possibilities with technology, and I think it's in Star Trek when people like teleport, like, so you show up, so we can, you actually show up in your bodies in like in a space. Like, that's going to be a possibility someday, probably in our lifetime. So we'll actually like go to yoga class. We'll have these.
Yeah, that'd be right.
The holograms. Can you already see Melissa?
That's what I mean. Yeah, holograms, exactly.
Holograms, and then touching your hologram, saying, "No, you have to lift your hip, right?"
See, you're thinking further than I am. Wow. Adjustments, even. Propping, hologramic propping. Okay, wow. Let's nosh on that for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, well, have a good rest of your day and evening, everybody, and I will see you on the forum, and we'll be back again next week.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
namaste.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.